Lu here. Now, I received some comments on some of my Vocaloid videos to talk about Vocaloid concerts. Unfortunately, I've never been to a Vocaloid concert, so I can't quite review one. However, there is one I want to talk about, and that's a Vocaloid concert that I guess kind of went in a weird direction. So, roll the intro and let's get started. Now, before I give information on this concert, please note that I will remain as neutral as humanly possible during the video, and I'm not making this video to attack a specific person or anything about cancel culture. This is just me delivering information, and I'll be giving the positives and negatives to all these situations instead of giving my personal thoughts. Now, with that disclaimer out of the way, let's begin. Vocaloid concerts is not a super crazy concept. Prior to this project, there is quite a few Vocaloid concerts. In a list, we have the Miko Expo, Magical Mirai, and Miku Live from Krypton Future Media, Aria Live and Party A Go-Go from First Place, and Nico Nico Party, which isn't official, but it's a concert that showcases the best motions made in MMD, and I'm just putting it here because that Echo and Hubikase performance might as well be official from how incredible it was. You will notice a pattern here, and that's a lot of these concerts are for Japanese Vocaloids. There's no Ruby or Yohio here, it's all Japanese. What about English Vocaloids? They need some love too, as English Vocaloids can be just as incredible and iconic as Japanese voice banks, and the first ever Vocaloids were for English. In came Vocamerica, a concert created by Aki Glancy or Empath P. She's a Vocaloid producer who's worked heavily with audio tech company Zero G, providing the voice for the Vocaloid Dyna and the design for Ivana. Even her box art was made by her. She had noticed the lack of attention towards American Vocaloids, so she wanted to make her own concert, and that's honestly a brilliant idea. Whether or not it's official is kind of up in the air, to be honest. She is the voice provider of her own Vocaloid at the concert, and she designed Ivana, so I guess she does? It's honestly really hard to say. Empath P wasn't alone on this either. She obviously had a team of people that included Yoi Style, a pretty famous MMD modeler who most notably did an absolutely gorgeous model of Maika, Akuo, an artist who provided the textures for the models, Ureshi, who you all probably know from her incredible dance motions and her Final Fantasy fan project called Project M, Master of Helium, Aya-chan, Angelic Oblivion 90, Car, X Gumo, 8 Daron, and M Barnes MMD, who are all animators as well as providing things like effects and facial animation. Keats, Rodoroda-chan, Geet, Dysphoric Demon, and Choco-song, who are all choreographers whose dances would be recorded on camera and traced into MMD. You have to admit, this is pretty much a dream team. This is a massive team working together on this project. Probably as much as something like Nico Nico Party. Like, this was for sure happening. Vocamerica clearly isn't something made by a bunch of high schoolers over the summer vacation who quit the project as soon as school starts because they realize they don't have time for it. This is clearly a professional project with the amount of talent that's on board here. Now, they launched a Kickstarter in 2016 and asked for $5,000, but quickly went well over that goal, and they made almost $20,000 to form the project. I want to say about 70% of the goals were met, and the first stretch goal was promised. Here's where we hit a weird turn. The first concert in 2016, according to Aki Glancy herself, was not the official launch of the concert, but rather a beta run that had to face 2 delays. I'm not entirely sure why you need a beta run, but you know, maybe she needed more vocal feedback on the projections and audio issues. You never know. Aki Glancy announced on Twitter that apparently the reasoning behind the delay on the beta concert was due to some issues regarding the files. The project was all displayed at MMD, or at least was animated at MMD, and then the video files were then made transparent. And then she ported them over to a thumbstick the entire concert was on. So apparently that thumbstick the entire concert was on had gone faulty. Now, this was 4 years ago, so I can't pull up tweets no matter how hard I tried, but I was closely observing the status of Vocamerica as I do any Kickstarter I was interested in, even if I don't fund the project at the time, but it's unfortunate that I can't pull up the tweets. Damn, I really wish Twitter was like Tumblr, where you could just have an archive system where you could go to the exact year and month, because this would make everything so much easier. For now, you just have to take all my words as alleged, I guess, only because I can't legit pull up the tweet tweets due to how difficult it is to pull up tweets from 4 years ago. Seriously, how the hell do drama channels do this kind of shit? I've gone insane just looking 2 months back at someone's Twitter. And now to many, the whole faulty flash drive resulting in a concert being delayed twice was definitely a cause for concern to some, and even unprofessional given this concert requires every piece of technology to be triple checked due to the issues regarding it. Obviously, I'm not saying anything, I'm just echoing fan consensus. Maybe she had some issues regarding flash drives. The file could be something difficult for the flash drive to read. Obviously, we don't know the details. Regardless of the issue, the beta concert would premiere, and although it did well enough, there was some criticism. The major one being the audio and projection tech in the show was not very good. Now, I can't tell because a camera recording anything higher than the decibels it can handle is going to sound like shit, and a camera is honestly not great at showing projection tech, as you can see in recordings of Vocaloid concerts. But at the same time, the projection tech did look a little rough around the edges, at least from the recordings I'm looking at. Again, a camera is not really the best judge in projection tech, so I'm going to have to trust to the people that were there who are criticizing the show. Empath P actually stated that the demo concert was actually very last minute. She was actually planning to delay it a third time before deciding to last minute host the concert, which again, is up to you how to feel about that. At least it was successful enough that more concerts could be held, and from my eyes, the camera projection tech did look like it was improving, but again, it's hard to tell due to the recordings of a camera recording projections. Vocamerica would continue for another year at a few other conventions across the world, and even had a spot in a BBC documentary regarding projection technology. But there was one concern that was coming up that wasn't really getting answered. There were stretch goals involving better projection equipment, which was met and answered, but there was other stretch goals that had yet to be met, and that was about adding more Vocaloids to the lineup and programs. The stretch goals for Vocamerica were Ivana, Oliver, Yohio, Sonica, Big Al, Tonio, and Prima. Each of these Vocaloids would receive 2 songs, whether that be original or a cover, and be part of a future program. Now this was great. I couldn't wait to see maybe a dance for Tarantula with Oliver, or maybe Tonio and Prima singing a non-lawsuit by Andrew Lloyd Webber free version of Phantom of the Opera. Even Ivana and Yohio's models were finished well over a year and a half before they had appeared in the program. Obviously, I get it. They needed songs and dances for these Vocaloids, and I'm sure that wasn't easy to produce. Except that a contest was held for Vocaloid songs for the stretch goals 2 years ago, because Aki Glancy needed more songs for her lineup. A song was chosen for Prima to sing, but what's super weird is that not a single model for Prima for Vocamerica has been made, or even what design they were going to pick. The song is Manager Dilemma by Marvin Valentin, and I highly recommend it, by the way. It's a really good jazzy bop, and it's one of the few Prima songs that actually understand her vocal range, and it's just a really cute song. The negative side is that there was a growing concern that outside of the higher quality projection equipment, Aki Glancy wasn't following with the stretch goals she promised if people donated more than what they asked. This is a weird thing because the Kickstarter was granted and a success, but it is strange to hear that stretch goals were never met. I guess it's kind of like if you paid someone to make you a cake. The baker tells you that for $10 more, you could get a second layer. You love cake, so you're like, sure dude. And then the baker hands you just 1 layer of cake, so you have to wait like 3 years for the rest of the cake. You can see why people were negative here. Obviously, to go back to the positives here, Aki Glancy did say that the reason she didn't just ask Circus P for songs is because she wanted to highlight smaller producers. And that's great. I really can't see an issue with wanting to highlight smaller producers. Side note, a cover of Yohio singing Hold Fire by Heartbreaker would have been amazing. And I'm not just saying that because I did a cover with that song. I'm also sure all of this takes forever to make. If you think about the process, it is pretty time consuming. You have to make or find an original song for that range, create a dance for it, animate that dance, and make sure a model is made to go along with that dance. I can see why the process may take a while. That's a lot to do, and I'm sure that this team of people have their own commissions to work on during all this. I know Urashi has a ton of dance commissions all the time, so it must take forever to get her to, rig all the motions. There was also permission issues regarding certain songs, as Aki Glancy spoke of one song she wanted Ruby to sing that she initially had legal permission to play at Vocamerica, but was quickly told she wasn't allowed to anymore, which I'm sure wasn't fun to deal with. That's all perfectly understandable, obviously. Another thing was that people were concerned again when the Utao was brought up as a placeholder for a few concerts. Many thought this was wasting resources for other Vocaloids in favor of a friend's Utao, thus creating a bias. However, what many people didn't realize is that this was paying for a stretch goal in the second to last tier involving your Utao in the show. There were actually 2 Utao that were part of this reward tier, but I can't seem to remember the name of the second one or find information on the second one anymore, so you'll have to take my word for it. Now, the concern among fans is that it has been 3 years since the reasonable belief of the stretch goals being worked on, and there are fans that were concerned that maybe they would never be answered. Some just shrugged it off that maybe these Vocaloids will be forgotten into the Vocamerica lineup. Until 2019, where Avano and Yohio, the second and fourth stretch goals, were finally added to the Vocamerica lineup with their original songs. This does still lead to Sonica, Oliver, Big Al, Tonio, and Prima, though I have not seen Yoi Style show any work in progresses for any of these characters. Again, what's super weird is that a full program for Ivana was done a year before her official appearance in 2019, where she sang and danced to Sad Machine by Porter Robinson. Another song I highly recommend, by the way. Porter Robinson's songs with Ivana are just really good. I can't find any performances for Vocamerica where Ivana sings to Sad Machine in the concert, by the way. So I don't know if something involving Porter Robinson and Aki Glancy fell through or what, but it is strange to commission a dance and then not use it. Not throwing in personal opinion, of course, just throwing in that it does look odd. It could also be that it appeared at a concert that wasn't recorded, but if anyone does have any evidence of Ivana performing prior to 2019, just let me know, because archives of Vocamerica are already not that great. They're actually pretty abysmal compared to other Vocaloid concerts. Just a shame, because I would have really loved to have seen what Prima and Tonio would have looked like by the Vocamerica team, or maybe what design they would have picked, as for some reason, Tonio and Prima have different designs in specifically Taiwan for some reason. Personally, I prefer the stock image guy for Tonio and the stock image lady for Prima, but that's just me. Though I have not seen Yoi Style make content for a while. Some sources say he stopped making models due to allegations of him stealing from other models. Unlike the Ruby situation from Rooster Teeth, I can't find any credible sources for that, so I'm just labeling it allegations for now. His last tweet on any of his social media was June 2019, so kinda weird considering all the models are supposed to be done by him. Since I'm not in that level of the Vocaloid community, I honestly can't say if Aki is even speaking with Yoi Style right now. To be honest, as I was researching this video, I did notice a lot of people involved with Vocamerica are no longer active in the community anymore, or at least aren't super active. Obviously, I'm not in the project, so I can't really say if things are still going on, but from an outside perspective, due to the inactivity of those in the project, it does look like it's falling apart. But like I said, that is just an outside perspective. Due to current world events that I can't say on YouTube because it's weird, all concerts and conventions have been cancelled until further notice, so the future of Vocamerica is completely unknown at this point. What doesn't help is that all of this is on hiatus. There are further allegations. People have reported that they never received their Kickstarter rewards like t-shirts, charms, and plush toys. Also, there were reports some merch was made using illegal uncredited artwork, and I'm not sure what merch they're talking about because a lot of this is pretty vague since it was privately handled between Aki Glancy and the people who donated. The only thing I will say from personal experience, as someone who did back up the interface project where I bought a copy of 715, I will say say that it seems like delays and issues is a running trait of projects with Aki Glancy in them. The albums faced quite a lengthy delay due to the manufacturing company for the CDs apparently falling through, so she had to find another place to make the CDs, and halfway through a merch campaign was held involving retweeting and sharing the Kickstarter in order to get buttons. I mean, it worked. I got my merch. Here's the album, charm, and buttons for me, so all my merch is right there, and it's all official artwork done by Circus P and his artist Slepu. Though I'm not getting any more personal, just that maybe this will help open up some level of understanding within Vocamerica or not. Maybe it's just a lot of bad luck with Kickstarters and projects. I know I've been involved in a lot of projects with bad luck in there. Or it could be more sinister than that. Though back to Vocamerica, one thing I had read as I was trying to dig up any information I can is that the attendance numbers for 2019 for Vocamerica were very low. Apparently a lot of people said it was due to the repeating song list and not really doing anything to change it up since the one in 2019 where 2 Vocaloids were added, but by then the damage had already been done. When you have a show playing for 3 years that's the exact same song lineup, I can understand the disinterest. Even Miku Expo changes out songs to prevent boredom, otherwise no one would go if they kept playing the same 10 to 20 songs with Miku in them without giving Kaito or Meiko a chance to sing too. Either way, it's hard to say the future of Vocamerica. This could just be a concert that ends in obscurity that everyone is scrambling to find 10 years later, or something that could very well be the American equivalent of Miku Expo. It's hard to say, but I'll let you guys come up with your own personal thoughts. I don't want it to seem like I'm swaying you guys one way or the other, so let me know your thoughts on Vocamerica down below. This was a pretty interesting one to make, actually. I had started a script and was pretty much ready to record it 2 years ago, but I read the script a few times over before recording it, and I hated it so much that I never even got around to actually recording it. Obviously, thanks to you guys asking for a video about Vocaloid concerts, that idea sparked again, and I think I can definitely say that I am a lot more satisfied with how this video turned out than the first draft of it. So again, let me know what you guys think. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you're new. And if any older new subs would like to help support the channel in any possible way, my Ko-fi page is down below in the description along with all of my social media. For any subscribers, new or old, who would like to help with video ideas or maybe just want to talk about anime or something, then I have a fan server linked down below. See you next time!